Hello, all my joyful creators and Yarn Joy adventurers. Thank you for joining me for Yarn Joy Adventures as we work on our last dishcloth in our kitchen segment. And today, as you can see before me, we have our cotton yarn, and I am using sugar and cream. And just like the others, it's a medium floor weight. It is 100% cotton, and it says that it is USA grown cotton, and it is in the colorway Creamsicle. And what a pretty color that is. That is going to be really pretty, bright and vibrant. And this is the scrubby that we're using today. Now, I purchased this at the Dollar Tree, so I got 4 for $1, and this is what the wrapper looks like. It's from the Scrub Buddies line, just like the scouring pads that we used last week. And it's the non-stick scrubbers. And it comes 4 to a package. And yes, the package is empty because I have used the other 3 and made samples of what we're going to make today. So after I finish going through all the items that you will need, I will clear off the craft table, and then I will bring those in for you to see. So you need your cotton yarn, and for this project, you're not going to use a lot of this yarn at all. You could even get 3 or 4 of these little scrubbies that we're going to make today out of 1 skein of yarn. You need your scrub, and you need a piece of yarn from the skein that you're using that measures about 50 inches. This is going to be your starting yarn, okay? And then you need your hook. I am using a J 6.0 millimeter hook for this project. You will definitely need a darning needle, and you will need a pair of scissors. So I'm going to pause the video a minute and remove all of these items, and then I will bring in samples of what we're going to make, and then we'll get started. Welcome back. So this is an idea of what we're going to make. Now, Mr. Joyful asked me with the yellow one if I would do it in white to make it look like an egg yolk that's sunny side up. So that's what I did. I'm glad he put in that request because I was actually going to use an orange or a purple yarn for this one. But how cute that looks. And then here is the other one that I did. And so this is literally what we're going to make today. So if you're ready, let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing you're going to need is your scrubby that you're using, the piece of yarn that you measured out 50 inches, and you will need your darning needle to start. So let's go ahead and get our yarn on that darning needle. And then you're just going to pick a spot. It doesn't matter. We're going to turn it sideways. And you're just going to pick any spot on any part of the sponge. And what you're going to do is you're going to find that side edge, and then you want to go right in the bottom part of the side and just push it through and come out the top, and you're going to pull your yarn through it. And you want to just leave a little bit of a tail. You don't need very much at all. Now, to secure that yarn in, we're going to come right back into that same hole we entered, and we're going to push it through and come right back through the same hole that we came out of. All right. Now, you do want to make sure that your yarn is on the outside of that before you pull it all the way, like that, so it's free. and then continue pulling it. And there you go. Now I'm going to pull it out just a little bit so I've got enough that it's not pulling it too tight. And that is how we get started. We're going to come over and we're going to do it again. We're going to come up about the same level where we went in on this one, and we're going to push it through the top about where we did on this one. And we're going to pull it through. And it looks like that. Now we're going to take our needle and come up underneath that yarn that we just put in like this. And we're going to make sure we're on the outside. And we're just going to pull it through. And when we do, this is going to start creating what would be like our chain for us. And we need to do that a total of 19 times around. We're going to have 20, but our 20th one is going to join from our 19th one to this one. So we need to do this evenly around 18 more times to give us 19. So I'm going to work a few more with you. So I'm going to come over a space and I'm going to enter in just like I had been with the others. And I'm going to pull that yarn through. And I'm going to come up through the bottom. I'm going to tuck underneath that string right, that string right there, that yarn, because I want to be on the outside. I want my yarn to be free. Because if I left it on this side, it would come up in the middle of this and be on the inside, and we don't want that. We want it on the outside free to go around. Okay, let's do it again. We're going to come over just a little ways and go through just like that. Put our needle up underneath it, go underneath that strand there, and there we go. So far we have 3. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to do a couple more with you, and then I'll let you finish around yourself. All right. And sometimes your needle will catch the plastic. Just back out and do it again, because you don't want to pull the plastic out. So that makes 4. And there's 5. And I'll do 2 more with you. And there's 6. And 7. So go ahead and do 12 more around. Just make sure that you're leaving enough space after you finish number 19 so that we can connect it to here and have something to make our 20th one. So I will meet back up with you after you add 12 more, and we'll do number 20 together. When you have 19 completed, let's count real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. We're going to complete it by making 20. So we are going to just come up underneath the first one we had and pull our yarn, and that will make number 20. Then you can pull your yarn off of the darning needle and put it to the side. And then we are going to take the tail that we had from the beginning and our working yarn, and we're just going to knot them. And that knot will disappear when we make our scrubby. Okay, and I just do it twice. Now you can either cut this little tail right here, or you can just work it in as you go. And we'll just work it in as we go. Now we have to attach this little bit of yarn that we have left. And the reason that I have you have so much left over is because then our joining magic knot will not be right at the beginning with this other knot. So we want to keep it from creating a huge bump. And as you can tell, if you feel that, you really don't have a big knot there, okay? It doesn't feel any more raised than these little pieces right here do. And now let's do a magic knot. Now I did just do a tutorial on this, but we're going to do it on this video as well. So you're going to take the yarn that you had as your working yarn that is attached to your sponge, and you're going to lay it down. You're going to grab the yarn that comes from your skein that you're going to join with. You're going to take that yarn from the skein and you're going to simply tie it and knot it to the working yarn of the sponge. And then I always like to do mine twice, just for secure measures. You really only need to do it once, but I always do it twice. Okay, now let me get this back the way it was. So there we go. We now have the skein working yarn attached to the scrub working yarn. Now we're going to take the yarn from the scrubby and we're going to tie and knot it to the yarn from the skein. And we're just going to do it the same way that we did just a few minutes ago. And I did mine a little bit short. So let me see if I can get it wrapped around here one more time to create a knot. There we go. So here we go. Our yarns are attached. These are our tails. And then here's the magic knot. We're just going to take it. This is the yarn from the scrubby. This is the yarn from the skein. And we're just going to pull them away from each other, and that knot will go towards each other. And that creates a very tight, secure knot. I mean, you can pull tight on that. It's not going anywhere. So you can trust that it's going to hold. And because of that, we're then going to grab these little tails right here, and we're just going to trim those off because we don't need them. That knot is rock solid. Okay, and because it's rock solid, I'm going to trim these tails down even a little bit more because I don't need them sticking out. Okay, and let me just clear this trash out of the way. And now here's our sponge and everything is tied together. There's our magic knot. Now you need to grab your crochet hook. And we're going to come in to this very first one. We're going to work over, and I have to turn my sponge around. I have to do it this way because I'm going to be working this way because I am right-handed. So now, get all of my yarns this way. There we go. We're going to come up under that first one. Here's the little tail that we're going to work in. And here's our working yarn. We're going to yarn over. And actually, okay, there we go. trying to get around that little tail there. All right, we're going to yarn over and pull up a loop. And then we're going to chain 1. And this gets us started. That is our row height. But we want to create a double crochet, so we're actually going to chain 2 and have a total of a chain 3 at the beginning here. So that's going to count as our row height and our first double crochet. We're going to yarn over. We're going to come up underneath the second chain and that tail, and we're going to pull up a loop. We have 3 loops on the hook, 1, 2, 3, and we're going to work a double crochet. Yarn over, pull through the first 2, yarn over, and pull through the last 2, and we've created a double crochet. And we're going to do that again. We're going to yarn over, insert underneath that chain that we created, that tail, yarn over, pull up a loop, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through the first 2, and yarn over and pull through the last 2. And we're just going to continue making double crochets in each chain around. Now, once you feel like you've got that tail secured in enough, you can go ahead and trim it off. And I'm just going to trim off this little excess right here. Normally I would just keep working it in. However, my magic knot has arrived, so I don't want to have to fool with that little end tail and the magic knot. So now we're going to try and hide this magic knot in as we go. So we're going to go up underneath the chain. Whoops, we're going to yarn over first. Go up underneath the chain, and if you'll notice, that magic knot is already in part of the loop. We're going to yarn over and pull that loop through. We've got 3. There's our magic knot. We're going to yarn over and pull through the first 2, and I'm going to pull as tight as I can so that it's hiding that knot right into the stitch. See that? Yarn over, pull through the last 2. Now my magic knot is part of that stitch. And I'm just going to keep going, making my double crochets all the way around. Again, if you do just like I just did and start picking up some of the plastic, pull your hook out and start again. You want to try to keep the plastic intact. You don't want it getting pulled out. And we're just going to keep working a double crochet under each of those chains. This is a very fast and easy project to do, and will make such wonderful gifts for your kitchen and kitchens of all your friends and family. I'm just trying to work up underneath that chain, leaving the plastic behind. There we go. And once you get past this first round, it'll be easier because you won't have to worry about the plastic. And again, we're just working double crochets in each of those chains that we created around the sponge. So when we finish this round, we will have a total of 20 double crochets. Whoops, let me go ahead and put that yarn over in there first. Otherwise it wouldn't be a double crochet. Got plastic that's trying to come up with that stitch. And we are almost back to the beginning. 2 more to go. And we're on the last one. And so now we're back to the beginning. So what you're going to do is you're going to do a slip stitch into the top of that chain 3 to join. So just go into the top of that chain 3 and do a slip stitch to join the round. And your yarn is probably curling up towards the sponge, and that's okay. That will fix itself when we start with the next round. Okay? So now, after you've slip stitched and joined the round, you're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. That's going to count as your row height and your first double crochet. And then we're going to do a double crochet right into that same stitch, so that we have 2 double crochets in that first stitch, just like that. Then we're going to go into the next stitch and we're going to work 2 double crochets. So 1 and 2. We're going to go into the next stitch and we're going to work 2 double crochets in it as well. And you've guessed it, we're going to work 2 double crochets in each stitch around. So I'm going to get you to go ahead and pause the video, work 2 double crochets in each stitch. When you get to the end of this round, you will have 40 double crochets. I will meet back up with you and we will join this round together. When you've come around and you've got your 40 double crochets, be careful that you don't add 2 double crochets in this, what's called the false stitch, that is falling underneath your chain 3. Okay, so now we want to join this round, so we're going to go into the top of our chain 3 and we're going to slip stitch to join, and that completes our second round. And this is what your sponge should look like at the moment. We're going to chain 3, and again this is going to count as your row height and your first double crochet, and we're going to do a double crochet right into that same stitch so that we have 2 double crochets into that first stitch. Then we're going to do only 1 double crochet into the next stitch. In the next stitch, we're going to work 2 double crochets, and then in the next stitch, we're going to work 1 double crochet. And this is going to start our repeat pattern for this round. So we're going to work 2 double crochets in the first stitch and 1 double crochet into the next stitch. And then we're going to keep doing that all the way around. We will have a total of 50 double crochets at the end of this round. So I will do one more set with you. So there's 1, 2 double crochets into this stitch, and then 1 double crochet into this stitch. So I want you to go ahead and pause the video and continue your repeat pattern of 2 double crochets in the first stitch and 1 double crochet into the next stitch, and I will meet back up with you to join the round together. When you finish this round, you should again have 50 double crochets. The last stitch you made should only have 1 double crochet in that stitch. Again, be careful of this false stitch that belongs to the chain 3. We're going to join by going into the top of the chain 3 and joining with a slip stitch. And this completes the third round, and this completes the body of our scrubby. We're now going to start the border. So we're going to chain 2, and this is going to count as our row height and our first single crochet. You're going to skip the next chain, and in the next chain you're going to work 6 or next stitch, excuse me, you're going to work 6 double crochets into that one stitch. So there's 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And as you can tell, that made a nice shell. We're going to skip the next stitch, excuse me. We're going to skip the next stitch and we're going to work a single crochet into the next one. We're going to work a single crochet into the next one, and we're going to work a single crochet into the next one. So we have 3 single crochets right there in a row. We're now going to skip the next stitch, and in the next one we're going to work 6 double crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And there's our next shell. We're going to skip the next stitch, and in the next one we're going to work a single crochet. In the next stitch we're going to work a single crochet, and in the next stitch we're going to work a single crochet. We're going to skip the next stitch, and in the next stitch we're going to work 6 double crochets. So we have 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We're going to skip the next stitch and work a single crochet into the next one. Work a single crochet into the next stitch, and work a single crochet in the next stitch. We're going to skip the next stitch, and in the next one we're going to work 6 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We're going to skip the next stitch, and in the next one work a single crochet. In the next stitch work a single crochet, and in the next stitch work a single crochet. We're going to skip the next stitch, and in the next one we're going to start working our 6 double crochets. Whoops. Trying to do a half double there. All right, 2, 3, our 4th double crochet, and 5, and then our 6th double crochet. Okay, get some more yarn up here for me. We're going to skip this next stitch, and in the next one we're going to work a single crochet. In the next one work a single crochet. In the next one work a single crochet. We're going to skip the next stitch, and then we're going to start our 6 double crochets in the same stitch. 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We're going to skip the next stitch, and in the next one work a single crochet, 1, in the next one work at another single crochet, and in the next one work a single crochet. We're going to skip a stitch, and in this next stitch we're going to work 6 double crochets. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now we're going to skip a stitch, and in the next one we're going to work a single crochet. In the next one we're going to work a single crochet. In the next one we're going to work a single crochet. We're going to skip the next one, and then we're going to work our 6 double crochets. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We're going to skip the next stitch. In the next one we're going to work a single crochet. In the next one we're going to work a single crochet. And in the next one we're going to work a single crochet. We're almost back to the beginning. We're going to skip a stitch, and in the next one we're going to work a double crochet 6 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We're going to skip a stitch, and in the next one we're going to work a single crochet. 1. In the next one we're going to work a single crochet. And in the next one we're going to work a single crochet. Okay. After you do that last single crochet, you'll notice that we have 2 stitches left. Okay. We don't want to create another shell because we don't want it to be so close to this one. So we're going to go into this next stitch and work a single crochet. So there will be 4 single crochets between the last shell and the first shell. And then we're going to go into the top of that chain 3. And we're going to join. And then you just need to fasten off your yarn however you do that. And pull it through, pull it nice and tight. And here's your scrubby. You have made it. This one kind of almost looks like a flower with that orange and the different colored variegated yarn. And then all you do after that is fasten in your tail. I always like to come to the next stitch from where I fastened off and go from the outside towards me like that, so it kind of just buries that little fasten off knot. And then I always like to kind of come down through the stitches like this. To hide that yarn. And then I just kind of slide through some of the stitches like so. and then go back across. So I'm interlocking that yarn. I'm about to lose my yarn off of my needle. It's getting low. And then I just kind of go back up through some of these stitches like this. And this is just me. I like to really make sure that that tail is secured in. I don't have to worry about it coming back out. And then I'm just going to come back down through some of this yarn one more time. And I have interlocked this yarn in 2 directions. So I have no doubt that that is not going to come out. And this sweet little scrubby can be washed over and over and over with no worries. And there we go. That is your new scrubby. And it's perfect. You can hold in your hand whichever way you want and do your scrubbing. So, yeah. Well, thank you for joining me for this segment of Yarn Joy Adventures. I hope that you have enjoyed learning how to make this scrubby dishcloth. And I look forward to spending time with you the next time we come together for Yarn Joy Adventures. We will be moving on from dishcloths to making dish towels. So let me pause the video a minute and gather up the items that you will need to be ready for that video. Now, I do want to share something before I gather those materials. I've had to make a few changes in my schedule, and so Yarn Joy Adventures will start happening every other week. So you will have 2 weeks to gather your materials to be ready for working on the dish towel with me. All right, so let me go ahead and pause this and gather up the items that you will need so that you can have everything that you will need to come together and make the dish towel with me in 2 weeks. The items that you will need to make your dish towel: you will need to pick out a pattern dish towel, whatever you're choosing. Mine happens to be Mickey Mouse. You can have a solid color dish towel. It can have any print on it that you want. It does not matter. Then you need to pick out a skein of cotton yarn that will match and go well with your towel. I am using a Peaches and Cream. I got it on sale at Walmart for $1. And it is 100% cotton. I know it says it here somewhere. Well, it's a 4-ply. I do not see it saying 100% cotton, but oh, right there in front of me, 100% cotton, right by the 4-ply. And this is in the colorway Lico. And so you'll need your dish towel, your matching yarn. You will need some thread that will match your towel. You're going to end up cutting your towel in half, so one towel will make 2. This one comes in a pack of 2, so I actually would get 4 dish towels out of this pack. But whatever your colorway is on your dish towel, running through the middle of your dish towel, you want to have thread that will match, because you're going to end up sewing across the top of your towel. And then, of course, you will need a sewing needle. And this is the little case that I keep my sewing needles in. So you will just need a sewing needle that you can sew your thread to your towel. And that's what you'll need. So I look forward to our next Yarn Joy adventure. In the meantime, stay well, stay healthy, be joyful, stay crafty in your own way, and make your own joyful creations. And I'll see you again in 2 weeks. Bye.